We both know I have to cut you now. You'll just have to imagine the pussy.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Couch Nerds podcast, where Swamp Thing is a cameo of his own hubris.
Did you want to retake that?
I kinda did, because I forgot as soon as I said where.
I had a feeling you did. Alright, take two. Beep beep.
Line!
Alright, start.
What is line?
Fucking. I did not hit her. I did not.
It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Can we keep that?
Yes!
That's
yes!
very better.
Yes! Oh, God.
I felt something there.
Your own hubris. So wait, so is that actually, is that, wait, so do you want to start from there?
Yeah, let's just start it. Alright, I got this. Hey everyone, welcome to Couch Nerds podcast, where Swamp Thing is a cameo of his own hubris. Today's podcast, I'm Ziegler, and I'm joined with my co-hosts,
Teddy Bear Killer.
Last night.
and today our podcast is going to be about an upcoming game. Everybody knows it. Some people probably wish they didn't after its predecessor, but that game would be Destiny 2. Dos, as the Spaniards would say.
Fuck you. But yeah, like, we wanted to set, we were trying, I was always trying to think about, like, what would be the perfect moment to do a podcast on and what to be about, and since lately we've been just so ready for Destiny to come out. Like, Carter even thought it was coming out this week.
I thought it was the 29th.
He thought it was the 29th, so he came over ready. He's like, okay, Dyllan, let's download some Destiny and everything. I'm like, Carter, what the hell are you talking about? It comes out, like, the 5th.
Then I went into a swarm of depression. Oh.
We immediately got over it and then came back to it just like recently. But yeah, so we're gonna be talking about Destiny. We're gonna talk about our predictions and hopes and dreams for Destiny 2. But also before we do that, we're actually gonna be talking about our like gripes and everything with Destiny 1, its DLCs, and everything, and our first impression with Destiny 1.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a full Destiny podcast.
Destiny's release at this point, because of how excited we are, it's kind of like Christmas for us. And one thing we don't want is like with Destiny 1, where we saw a bike wrapped up under the tree, and we went to open the bicycle, and it ended up being a pair of socks. They were useful. You needed them, but you wore them too long and they started to tear holes in the bottom.
Dad the biggest props to get a pair of socks in the shape of a bicycle. The kid opens it up and it's nothing but packing peanuts, and he's like, where's my bike? It's in there. He starts swarming around. He's like, tube socks.
That's pretty elaborate.
Exactly. Oh, I'm doing that to my kids.
Well, I mean, that's like the loot system in Destiny 1, am I right?
Oh my god, I basically had to go through a bunch of packing peanuts just to get my fucking stupid ass
Tube socks?
What was that? The moat. Remember how sometimes after we did a big strike or something, you would just get like a moat?
Oh yeah, the motes of light.
Yeah.
That was disappointing as fuck.
I remember the best disappointing moment ever.
I forget what the fuck they were even used for.
Brad went like fucking 23, 1, and like 12 in a game, and he was so proud. He was MVP and he won us the game. Everyone on the opposite team and us got a weapon and like a strange coin. He didn't get shit. And he immediately got so pissed off, he just turned off his Xbox. He didn't say he was leaving. He just turned it off. And I had to call him and ask Brad what happened. And all I heard was, that was bullshit and you know it.
Well, to be fair, I think I earned Brad's items for myself, you know. Going like 4 and 13... They knew I was the real MVP. They don't expect the 4 and 13 Hunter Super Power Spike.
Shut up.
My problem most of the time was that you got random shit.
Yeah, like I wasn't a big fan of the item system and how they decided to do it for like because it really did. If you did really good in a game mode, they for some reason would not reward you for that. And I got annoyed because like sometimes it would come out really on top of in Crucible, and I would either get like a green item, which is just an uncommon, or I would sometimes be lucky enough to get a rare. But it'd be a rare that was so under my level that...
Well, I was going to say, I think pre-20, you'd get green stuff as rewards, but once you hit level 20, I think they only give you blue or higher.
They do, but I was never like the cool guy that got a legendary.
Well, I know one game I got an exotic. Like, only one in about 500 games I got an exotic as a reward in a Crucible match.
I never got an exotic, you lucky fuck.
It was like it was like a shitty fusion rifle, like one that was like never used until like it got buffed and it was used for a week, and then other weapons in the specialty class just were better.
Yeah, but that's like saying like, oh, I found a shiny Caterpie. Ooh. When I was like, you got a shiny, congratulations. All I got was a fucking rock.
Oh no, I was fucking ecstatic. I never thought I'd fucking get anything decent or worthwhile out of the Crucible. In fact, the only time I ever got good stuff consistently was during Iron Banner, because they specifically give you high tier stuff.
Only good thing I ever got out of Crucible were highlights and me getting headshots on people.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about getting shot in the head, because that happened a lot.
No, I didn't get killed that much.
Tell
Shut
that to
up.
your constant -5 kill death ratio.
Yeah, well, you never looked at my, like, Xbox stuff where I would just headshot.
That's because you never recorded any, because it doesn't exist.
I did. You just didn't look at my stuff.
But no, okay, so let's actually go back. Let's talk about first impressions with Destiny. Like the moment you actually started playing it. Let's say the first week of Destiny. What was your first actual impression of the game?
Well, like any person who normally goes into a movie and doesn't let the existential dread set in after watching said
Those
movie,
some big $2 awards right there.
you're on your high after watching a movie that you think is amazing, and you're like, man, this game was really fucking fun. I'm enjoying myself. I beat the shit out of everything. Every time I died was in a stupid, funny way where I fucked myself over. It was cool. I'm enjoying this. I'm gonna keep going. And then you play the Crucible, and you're like, this is bullshit. Everybody's just using the same shotgun and hand cannon combo, and you don't have it because you're not good enough yet. So then you go to the strikes, and you're like, oh, I'm not a high enough level yet. So then you go get yourself to a high level, and you're like, oh, I died, and I can't get brought back to life. And all my friends died because they're trash. And then you spend an hour because you don't have any fucking exploits or shit to do at the time because you're scrubs, and you fucking spend, like, literally 2 hours in the Summoning Pits mission with super modifiers, where the only way you can kill people is with a fire sniper rifle, because 2 witches will come out of nowhere and blast the fuck out of Dyllan and Brad when they're running down the staircase. And you get all the way through, you killed them, and you get something really bad, usually. Sometimes one of the 3 people would get an exotic, and you're like, this is fucking lame. I hope this doesn't constantly happen. And it does. And then you get something really nice when you're about to say fuck this game, and it gets you excited again. You're like, sweet, my luck's finally turning around. And then you're like, so how now I can start doing the better stuff. So you grind, and 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 then you go to sleep, and then you wake up, and then you grind, and then you grind, and then you go to the tower, and you decrypt all your engrams, and they're greens and blues, and you jump off the tower because that's how you feel inside.
Yeah.
And then you grind, and then you grind, and then you get on your
best
Sparrow and you listen to Linkin Park because that's how you feel inside.
Kids Bop Linkin Park. Wake me
Oh
up
my
inside.
god, that was terrible.
And then
Those kids can't
drive,
sing.
and then you drive, and you're like, wait a minute, Wake Me Up Inside isn't by Linkin Park, and then you go back to the tower and you jump off the tower again, because your life is a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. And then you grind, and then you grind, and then you grind, and then your friends come back, and you're like, hey, you want to do that raid that came out? And they're like, sure. And then you go in, and you try, and you try, and you try, and you get bodied by the first boss because you don't know what you're doing. And then your friend's brother shows up and like, hey, we're actually good at this game. Come with us. We'll help you out. And then you get boosted, and you try, and you grind, and you shoot, and you loot, and you get to the final boss, and then you go through like 70 fucking wipes because you don't know how to fight the boss, and then you win, and you're like, woohoo, what do I get? And then you get like a purple ghost, and your friend gets an exotic, and your friend gets a legendary ship, and then your other friend gets a legendary Sparrow, and then your other friend gets 3 guns and a legendary armor piece, and you're like, I just got these pair of boots and a ghost. And that's pretty much Destiny in a nutshell.
Okay.
was the longest description ever, but I loved it.
My experience was more towards when you first get into the game. Like that first week, you start noticing the role-playing aspect of the game that you thought would be more understanding, I guess, or more in the game. It's not really there, you know? You don't get to be the best pilot because there's no actual flying. There's a whole bunch of stuff missing for me. It's just, a nightmare, but it's like... It's just... The maps, they were just too small for me, you know? When you got the vanilla game, you play it, then you go through, like, every twist and turn, it doesn't feel right, you know?
I hate when people say that stuff's too small for them. I'm just like, what? My way of life ain't big enough for you?
Well, for the $60 game, and then, what, the raid we got?
No, I fully agree. I hated the Vote of Glass. The Vote of Glass was, like, no fun at all for me.
Yeah, 4 different types of enemies, right?
It was 4 different, the fucking...
There was getting into the room, then platforming, then getting to the gatekeeper section.
He's talking about the aliens.
Like
the Vex, the Cabal.
They call them the Darkness in the beginning, but then they take that out.
Yeah, the Vex, the Cabal.
Well, no, they called him the Darkness before. Like, anytime you wiped, it would say the Dark...
Fallen,
there was Fallen,
and Hive.
There was Hive, there was Vex, there was Cabal, and then they added the Taken, like, 2 DLCs down the line.
And all the Taken was basically the same creature you already fought, that was just dark and, like, a little bit stronger.
Yeah. You only get a raid for one type of fucking monster type of alien when there's like different types of.
Actually, no, we didn't. We
the Vote of Glass.
The Vote of Glass is the Vex, and okay, you mean like for each raid?
We only get 1 out of 4.
I thought you meant like each raid had a different type of. You know.
I'm having a tough time talking.
No, I feel you, but like the Vote of Glass is about the Vex, and that's fine because the Vex was the main enemy of the first game. Like they were the end all be all, I guess.
Yeah.
But then you had Crota's quest, which is Hive.
Crota's End, it was Vex, then Hive, then...
Taken, which was just Crota's dad.
Then Taken and then Fallen.
But no, I feel you.
What?
Like
technically a 5th different type of alien. Even though it was Hive, it was still like...
Oh, you're talking about the Taken?
The Taken.
Yeah, that's what we said.
Yeah. It's just...
For me, my first impression of Destiny was the fact that, I didn't get it day one. I actually got it, I think, a couple of months after Destiny had launched. So I was a little bit behind on most people. And the only reason why is because, I had already heard, disappointing things from it. So my first impression of it was already downgraded because I allowed people to basically weigh my judgment on it. Now, do I regret not getting it day one? Hell no. I'm glad I didn't get day one because I was able to get it cheaper. But
I got it day one.
Yeah, I did.
I was surely still upset.
Everybody but Dyllan got it day one.
Yeah, it was the same thing with Borderlands. Everyone got it basically when they found out it was $15, so super cheap. Everyone got it, but me. And then I had to go to the fucking GameStop and get it for $30 because I wanted to play with you guys really, really badly.
Yeah.
That's weird. I got that day one too.
You got fucking cucked on that.
Oh no, I got extremely cucked. And what I hated the most is no one of you assholes told me. Ricardo didn't know. He was at home and he was just doing whatever.
I figured you knew about it. But
you, Brad, and Pete were Dyllan, we thought you knew. I'm how would I have known? And he's
you're on Xbox all the time.
But they didn't want advertising it though.
Oh, the price drop?
Yeah, they went after. It was it went from
back then there wasn't a notification.
Exactly. Brad just found it because literally he would always go to the store and check out new shit.
And he actually told me about
it. Exactly. He's the one that told you and Pete. And I'm why did no one call me?
I wouldn't have known because, I said, I bought it day one.
Yeah, but no. Again, but with Destiny, I paid
biggest jump.
I paid $40 for it, and I was so upset with the pricing on that because it really was a lot of I don't mind grinding in a video game. Hell, I used to play a game called Conquer for the PC that all you did was grind to make your character strong because the entire game was PvP. There was no questing. There was no real big mission or anything. All it was monsters and players. And your job was to grind up your level, get your gear, and then PvP against people. I'm fine with grinding. But there's a limit to what I can do. And in an RPG, I can understand, monsters just kind of standing there and being stupid because they are built in that way. In Destiny, I want some actual movement. I want some...
Yeah, there was actually a lot of different AIs in Halo. When you hear the same people that made Halo or
Bungie and Activision.
Yeah, that was another reason why I really wanted to get it. because I was a big Halo fan.
Exactly. Like when you
even Reach, which people were thoroughly disappointed in, I actually enjoyed.
I
Halo
loved Reach. I love my favorite Halo game is ODST, and I know a lot of people say ODST is more. I loved it, and Bungie helped work, or they aided with that.
They worked on every one of them until Reach, and then they passed it to 343.
Exactly,
and
5. And like when you hear like a company Bungie worked on Destiny,
a new game that's like Halo but supposed to be 1,000 times better and more open.
Exactly, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna jump on a chance with that. But then when you hear like everything that they did and went wrong with it, and I feel like Ricardo, like they didn't promise, like they didn't pull a fucking No Man's Sky and promise things that weren't there. But I still felt like the game wasn't fully completed because there was a lot of bugs and glitches that I really didn't like about, like for instance, again, the
like
Fallen.
The fact that your ship was just a loading screen, that was the worst glitch of all.
Yeah, I never felt compelled to go get the ships.
No, aesthetically, the ships, shaders, emotes, and all that stuff. Like I'm not a big fan. You know, I've never been a big fan of that.
I like the shaders. Some of the shaders
are
really
pretty cool.
Why don't the ships have shaders? I don't understand.
I think they.
I think they're implemented. I think they're implemented because, like, we saw from that little trailer that, like,
fucking light.
But still, like, yeah, like when I saw the ships, I'm like, there's a really cool ship design. It sucks that no one else, but that unless they're in my fire team, can see it. And it just kind of hovers there. But, you know, it's fine. I let that go because I was still hoping for more things on the land that I can do. The events, even if you knew when the scheduling event was happening, sometimes it wouldn't happen exactly when the time the schedule said it was going to happen. So you would be waiting and waiting and waiting, and then you get bored and be like, okay, how about if I, like, go run across this way and, like, you know, just go grind over there? There's nothing telling you when that event, because every section of that area you're in, like for instance, Earth has like 5 different sections, so they're cut off from each other, and the map is different. So nothing, if something's happening on like the far north of this map, the radar doesn't tell you that something's happening there.
And you have to travel there.
Exactly. So there's nothing telling you, oh shit, there's an event happening over there. There's no way to formulate that. And that's their fault because they couldn't really figure out a way to tell you, hey, there's an event happening in this sector of this map.
Well, they did. It was the ghost. It just didn't, like, do anything.
No, but you had to be in the area to know when the event was happening. If you weren't in that area,
I'm saying there was a way to get notification for it. They just didn't implement it because they didn't feel like it.
Yeah, like it took people to make a custom website that timed when
I started using that website,
yeah. But it wasn't even perfect. It was like, all right, in about 5 minutes, a event may happen. If it doesn't happen within a minute, it's not happening, and it won't happen again for another 20 minutes, and then we'll check again.
My biggest problem with events.
So sometimes you could literally be looking for certain events for like a mission or a bounty, or it's like complete 3 extraction missions, and you go to different planets for specific ones, or do these 3 missions on the moon or whatever, and you go there and it's like, oh, in 30 seconds there's going to be one in this section of the moon, and you go over there and you literally sit there for 5 minutes and nothing happens, all the while an event on the other side of the moon starts and you don't get there in time.
And what's worse, sometimes the things are actually like further in the time than when they're saying. Yeah. They're saying an event is about to happen. No, it just happened. So you missed it and you're waiting there like an idiot.
It doesn't feel like a big event either.
No, it's exactly.
Just like, oh yeah, we're dropping off our kids on the to school. That's how it felt.
Don't shoot them, please.
Yeah.
You
see the ships there, and they sometimes.
And then the Fallen are like, oh boy, the moon. I've always heard great things about the moon, and then you shoot them.
Everyone and their mother has bitched about the story of Destiny 1.
What story?
Well, okay.
Yeah,
the story.
What is the story?
Well, my biggest problem with the story of Destiny 1 is that it doesn't really feel like it's connected. It feels like it's like you're going on separate misadventures with your Guardian. And even though, like, the Vex are there, I think it's kind of funny how once you meet, what is the character's name? The chick, the EXO chick?
The mysterious stranger?
That's just her name?
Yeah, the stranger. Okay. I mean, the weapon you get from her is called the stranger's rifle.
The fact that literally her line, one of my favorite lines from Destiny 1 from her is literally, I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain to you. And I think, that's pretty funny on the cliche of, like, I don't have time to explain what I'm doing.
Yeah, that pretty much explains the story.
It makes no sense. Why don't you just go to the tower and explain
still,
it to our
there's a difference between having, like, in Dark Souls, what I love about Dark Souls is its vagueness for its story, but it allows the lore to tell the lore, and it allows you to actually search for that. In Destiny, I feel like they tried doing that without actually placing any of the lore. You had to go onto the site and read the grimoires to learn about the lore.
Yeah, and I don't fucking read, especially not little
Also-
tiny trading cards that tell me the lore.
Also, the characters were fucking one-dimensional. It was so bad. It was just like...
Yeah, it really wasn't until the Taken King where the characters started showing more and more light about themselves. And the only character that really showed light about himself was Cade.
Yeah.
Cade is
was he
awesome.
even in the beginning of the game?
He was never shown. Like, the
Everybody was
the
shown
three-
a little bit. Like, they had dialogue when you'd go on specific strikes. Like, one of the Cabal raids, you'd hear fucking, the Titan Vanguard guy. He'd fucking explain the mission to you. I'm pretty sure Cade had
Kabbalah?
one. Yeah.
Is that the mage?
I think so. I can't remember.
Warlock?
No, Ikor is the Warlock,
Ikor.
Zavala is the Titan, and then Cade is the Hunter.
Yeah.
And each of them would have one specific strike where they would talk to you. Otherwise, it was usually your ghost,
Well, actually,
or
the-
the Cryptarch, or the fucking...
I don't get why they were in charge. That was never really
the
explained.
speaker.
Well, is that there was some of the original Guardians that actually started coming back to life and started making like the tower what it is, and so I guess they just somehow became the strongest of their classes. So they got basically because there was nothing there before when they got brought back in the first time, and they slowly made this to what it was. So I guess people just kind of unanimously either elected them or they just kind of took over without even realizing it.
Yeah,
Which,
but there's no, like...
Well, I mean...
What's the word? Reference towards any of that.
no, see, that's what I'm saying.
In one of the first Destiny 2 trailers they showed like the story of Zavala and how he came to
See,
be. Like,
and
it
that's
started
what-
him as a corpse, the ghost brought him back to life, it showed him in like 5 or 6 different battles over a time period, where each one, they killed him, and the ghost brought him back to life again.
No, see,
and then
that-
it shows him get to a settlement that's under attack. I think Cade might already be there, and it shows him walk through the crowds and start attacking. I'm guessing, like, they were doing that shit a lot, and through their heroics and their actions, they became known as, like, the heads, the figureheads of the tower.
Ziegler,
Best
see,
guardians.
Ziegler, see, that's
Yeah, they're
really,
the best guardians
That's
they've ever
really
heard
cool.
of.
You know what my problem with that is, though?
It's not in the game.
Yeah.
No, it's not even the fact it's not in the game.
That's my
That's in a trailer for a new game that's coming out. Where was that lore in Destiny 1? Where was the anything
What do you mean?
of
They were
Destiny
there.
1?
They were standing around a table.
Okay,
I
what
would have preferred if we, like, found files of, like, surveillance of what they used to do.
Like, but-
get hints leading up to an actual mission
Like-
with them.
yeah.
That would have been great.
Like when you met the Queen, right?
yeah.
She had Fallen with her, and she said, "These Fallen are mine."
No, they weren't.
Okay, why? How?
They weren't for.
Do
They were yours for.
Did they see you as a sexy being? Did you save their lives?
What resources do you have? You're in an asteroid
She
field.
conquered them.
Okay, see, I want to know that.
That's funny. That's funny. She's like, these fallen are mine. I'm like, yeah, for maybe one more expansion, and then they ain't yours anymore.
Like, honestly, I was like thinking to myself half the time when I was playing this game, they're adding stuff in, but it feels like they're just doing it just to do it. No, we're still good on time.
No, I mean, where are we?
oh, it's only like 20 minutes in.
Uh,
But like, anyways, like it just feels like it's not that they weren't really creating a cohesive story for me enough
Yeah.
to be like interested. It was very dull. Taken King had a cohesive and good story because not only did you get to see more of the characters you've actually like been like interested in,
There was
but
actual struggle.
Crota. I mean, not Crota. What is her name? The blind chick from Crota's end,
Eris.
Eris. She was pretty funny.
Eris, get your rock off my map.
Exactly. Cade was hilarious. The other
Oh
two
my
were
God.
there.
Cade
but-
Nathan
actually-
Fillion makes everything.
But yeah,
Better.
speaking of the Awoken, Rip the Awoken, I wish you had more story to tell, i.e., Rip the Queen's brother, who all we knew about him was his name was the Queen's brother, and he was the Queen's brother.
and he was a dick. He almost tried killing us. But I'm
Yeah,
so
but he-
sad
Yeah,
that
but
the Awoken
he was a
Queen
Donnie Darko looking
was
motherfucker.
supposedly
So.
passed.
I don't call her the Awoken Queen. She's just a bitch that had the fucking
Yeah,
asteroid.
she looked like she was a pirate, by the way. Did anyone else get that feel that she was a pirate?
No, because pirates do stuff. She was just sitting on her throne like, ha, I do stuff, but really other people
One
do
day I'll
for her.
let you
What do
to
you
fucking
mean?
pound
She-
my badge.
God.
And the brother
I bet
was
you she
like,
was
not
having
if
sex
I'm
with
around
her.
here. So what, they were like the Space Lannisters?
Yes, Space Lannister.
But no, okay, but that's what was. I have so many problems with Destiny 1, but I guess we should kind of move on to the idea of like, that was our first impressions of Destiny 1. Let's talk about the DLCs. Then let's go, of course, in chronological order of when they were released.
Crota's End?
Crota's End
Well,
is first.
the Dark Below was
Well,
the
yeah, Dark
expansion
Below,
pass
yeah.
for, or the
So
expansion.
I'm actually gonna ask you guys, what did you think of the Hive before that?
They
I
were
thought
the
they
Flood.
mindless zombies with no fucking exposition at all.
They were the Flood, except for they didn't have the little popcorns that would swarm you in groups of 20.
Did little popcorns, didn't they?
I fucking hated those things.
Yeah.
Every other part of the Flood was fine, but you didn't have accurate enough guns in Halo 3.
Shotgun, bitch! Carries. That thing scatters.
I like the Knights. They were kind of scary when they were swarming.
Oh, yeah, the Knights looked badass and everything, but, like, the Hive themselves as an enemy for the Acolytes and the fucking,
They were very unimpressive.
Everything
Exactly.
outside of the Raid and the Giants were underwhelming.
Yeah. Well, the Witches were pretty cool, but again, I hate Bullet Sponge. That's all Destiny 1 was for me, for a lot of the raid bosses and shit.
Well, you
was
better
Bullet
believe
Sponge.
they're going to be bullet sponges in this game.
Oh, no, I hear it's not as prominent in this one, though.
Well, you know how you take care of bullet sponges in, like, most games?
You usually use the most overpowered rocket
Well, you
launcher.
shoot them until they have, like, a weakness, and then you shoot that weakness for a big chunk, usually.
Well, no,
They didn't do that.
Would make it go a
in
lot
Destiny 1,
faster.
they had some enemies that did that. But my problem with the Bullet Sponge idea in Destiny 1, though, is they kept trying to implement the ideas, like, saying, like, oh, you have to, like, you know, coordinate with your team, move around, be very movable. No.
You
Stay
hide.
behind a wall.
Look for
Wait for the
exploits.
sponge to stop for a second. Shoot. Hide behind the wall again. Someone runs up like a moron, hand cannons it, and dies. That was my beginning impression.
That
with
was me.
Exactly. That was the first 3 days with
doing
Destiny.
that because I'd fucking screw you guys over.
But no, so like Dark Below, that was the first actual introduction of story to Destiny.
It
Which
was okay. I'd have to say out of the DLCs I played, it was definitely the most underwhelming one. But I still I enjoyed it enough.
It felt like it went too fast for me.
I think a bit of that was because you're literally running through this dark area, and that's 1/3 of the fucking raid there.
Yeah, and what was even it, like, for me, it's like just the idea of, like, again, they introduced this small bit of story that I got so involved in, which was Elise talking about how, like, my friends and allies went down here and I'm the only one that came out the way I am. I'm like, oh shit, can we know more about that? Go down there and stop it. What happened to your team? Can you give me some advice of what happened? Go down there and stop it. I went down there.
Also,
I
give me some
stopped it.
earwax from the monsters.
Like, she gave you little tidbits of info about what she saw down there, but it was still, again, so vague that nothing. Like, I was so disinterested. And then the final boss of that whole mission shit was just Crota, but not Crota. He was being resurrected as a gem, but you just fought 3 witches and destroyed the gem.
What do you mean? You fought Crota in the raid?
In the raid, I'm saying, okay, not trying to go too up ahead, but in the Taken King mission, you fought the Taken King, then you fought him again in the Dark Below, in the actual Taken King raid.
Yeah, but I consider him more of like a scion, or like a image or like, because obviously when
Kind of
you
like a shadow clone?
kind of because
Ziegler.
when you fight Oryx, he's like maybe twice human size
Ziegler.
when you fight him in that fight, and when you fight him in the raid, he is the size of his ship.
Ziegler. I fought a rock.
Did you?
That's what he was. He was a fucking rock.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Shut up. But and then the raid was very boring too, because I don't like the way the Hive designed their shit. Like the ship, the little art, like the way they had the buildings. And
Yeah, it was a
everything.
little too dreary.
It was very green, black, and brown. I don't like looking at it like that type of scenery for so long, because not only does it hurt my eyes,
Which is ironic because the one raid we liked also used a lot of black and brown.
but there was a lot of interesting
But it felt
shit
like a
going
dungeon.
on. Yeah, it actually had a lot of shit going on, and like
The
there
other
was
one
actually.
felt more like a goth kid's home.
Fair.
But
I mean,
okay,
I definitely liked Crota's End more than the
not only
Vodka
that,
Blast.
but
Actually, maybe I didn't.
it had probably
Because
the worst.
I felt more invested in the Vault of Glass in specific points, like navigating the Gorgon's maze actually felt really intense when someone
I agree.
fucked up.
I agree.
Like, if you fucked up in the Gorgon's maze, you either had to find a new route or wipe, because you were not getting everybody through that.
That's what I'm saying. The Vote of Blast was more interesting than the second raid we got.
And granted, in the boss fight, when you get teleported into like either Mars or Venus on like a small area, it was annoying as fuck, especially when one of your guys that was supposed to hold the portal was already dead before the teleport happened.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that too. It was like everybody had. It's like one of those stories where everybody gets their point to shine. Like 2 people get stuck in this dimension and they have to fight their way through, and then the people on the other side have to help them get back so they can help them.
In Oryx's
that was the
mission,
third DLC.
one of you have to get a
Crota?
sword. Yeah, Oryx. Yeah, Crotus. You have to get his sword and fight him very quick, while the other two just bring down his shield. That's it. Like, his thing was
But
actually...
if you don't kill him fast enough, then he'll bring it down a giant soul meteor that you have to shoot at. Otherwise, everybody dies.
That was somehow less interesting to me than everything that
By
was
soul
happening
meteor, I mean a giant
in
eyeball.
Boat of Glass. But no, again, like... Also, the weapons are very underwhelming to me.
Yeah, the reward system, along with that, very, very...
The aesthetic clothes that you got were boring looking. Basic greens and browns is the same, and the weapons you got
Some
were
of them
very...
looked okay, but I'll admit most of them were pretty underwhelming.
The only thing that was really cool was the 2 shaders I got.
I don't know, I actually liked the Necrochasm when I finally got it to full upgrade and shit. That looked really cool. I mean, it was weak as fuck, but it looked nice.
But
it was like the Needler that I wish was in fucking Destiny.
But that was the Dark Below. Now let's talk about the second one that came out, the House of Wolves.
That one's my favorite, but it's so sad.
The House of Wolves was a Fallen DLC, something I really wanted because I actually really like the Fallen's design and the Fallen in general.
Yeah,
Space Pirates is basically what
Yeah,
they are.
exactly. But like, my thing that upset me though is that the final villain for the House of Wolves DLC, I thought was gonna give a Fallen raid, and even though it wasn't a Fallen raid, it was basically like a battle dome, you know.
Yeah,
and you get to
a
fight him
horde
there,
mode.
and it was really hard. He was really hard. I don't.
It's pretty decent.
Did we beat him? I don't remember.
Yeah.
It took
Once,
us, when we first,
right?
no, we eventually started beating his ass a lot, but the first time we finally beat him, like, it took us forever to get to that point, and it took us like a long time. Like, it was raid time how long it took us to do it because of how strong
I love
they were.
entering that treasure room.
And when we
open up the
fucking
chest and you
finally
see
killed him,
gold.
it was like the best moment ever. And then once the next DLC came and we got our light levels up higher, because they didn't adjust the House of Wolves yet, we went in there like 2 or 3 more times with fucking Israel and just we threw him in a hole.
Yeah, I think my biggest problem with a lot of the raids and stuff, difficulty, the heroic usually wasn't unlocked until like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah, see, that was my problem too. And the thing about the House of
That's
Wolves,
another thing. Not just that, but like the raids would usually be locked for 1 or 2 weeks.
Every
one of them.
What I really like about
Which
the House of Wolves,
supposedly this one in the new game, the raid drops with the game.
I would hope so.
the House of Wolves DLC. Not only did I really like the arena style, but I also like the fact that like a lot of the weapons were a lot of interesting. They were designed well. I like the names and I like the abilities that came from. The
I was actually
upset me,
getting
though,
keys.
And see, that's what I'm saying. The thing that upset me though is one kind of the way you got keys. Like when you first started out trying to get keys, it took forever. It really did. But then they started fixing that, so you got keys a little bit better. But at that point, they literally nerfed some of the weapons you would get. So some of the weapons you would get that you were really excited for were so weak when you got them by that time.
Yeah, sometimes
You
you
just ended up like ditching them anyway.
Exactly.
Sometime, maybe 10% chance you get a exotic, 90% chance you get Wolfsbane, and nothing else.
Exactly.
And you'd think Wolfsbane is cool because it's like heavy damage versus fallen, but then you'd pull
I
it
was
out,
happy, though.
and that heavy damage is actually less than a handgun.
I was happy though when we got the social space.
the
On
reef.
the reef.
Yeah, where we didn't have to go back to the tower.
No, the
every
reef
time.
was one of my favorite things that was added besides the Battle Dome, which was literally the House of Wolves. And I
Prison
love,
of
I love, yeah, and I love some of the new lore that came with the Fallen. One
Like
being
Varric.
which was Varric, yeah, this cool shaman-looking fucking Fallen fucker.
Yeah. I love how you get to learn more a little bit about the clans.
And
House of Wolves, that's such a great fucking name.
it really is. That's why I love the Fallen. They probably so far had the best lore bringing up to that
And
point.
style. They
Yeah.
have a lot of style.
If I wish,
They had
I
some of
w-
the best aesthetic clothing options too for just
I wish you could
expansion
look
stuff.
like a Fallen dude.
Like when you
a lot of
beat,
people
like-
just say they're just like the aliens from Halo. What was
the
the
elites.
elites? Yeah.
I guess you could see that because I always like the elites more than the humans.
Yeah,
every
Hive
time.
is the Flood,
Plus, aren't
Fallen
they
are the
both,
elites, Vex
what do you
actually
call
is
it?
kind of unique.
Quadruped?
Yeah,
Something
Quadruped,
like
but
that?
the Vex are not
Just
unique
when
to
you
me.
have 4
Well, I'm
hands.
talking about compared to Halo. I'm not
Yeah.
thinking of anything to compare them to. And then the Cabal are just brutes.
No, the elites aren't.
Well, then wouldn't the fucking Vex be like? I don't know. Yeah, the Vex on their own damn thing. No, the Vex are the Sentinels.
I never
from
understood that.
from Guilty Sparks' shit.
Oh, you're talking about from Halo 4?
No, I'm talking about like from actual Halo. You know how in Halo
Wasn't-
1,
but they were
the
just in a
library,
floating eyeball, and the floating eyeball was part of the Fallen.
but the floating eyeball sent out the Sentinels that would just shoot out beams at you.
I guess.
I'm just trying to put shit there that's not there.
The only thing I
yeah.
disliked about the Prison of Elders was the overabundance of sniper goblins in the Vex missions, and the Cabal general that had 50 different shields and 100
Yeah, the
men guarding
Cabals
him.
were probably the hardest things to face in that entire DLC for the fucking.
Like, if you didn't have to fight Cabal in your prison run, it was a fucking breeze.
I wouldn't say it was a breeze, but yeah, like it was.
At least until like the level 5 prison run when you go for Skolas, because then everything fucking sucks.
But yeah, so far,
Like
I would say we're one for one.
like,
one
the point
DLC
that-
we didn't like, one DLC we did like.
Like,
I hope though in Destiny 2, sorry,
it's fine.
that they do put in some stuff, gear that is pertaining towards your fucking DLC stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be nice to have an homage to that stuff.
Here we go. The big DLC drop, The Taken King. I'm sure we have a lot of pros and cons for this DLC, but I guess let's start out with the pros. What did you like about The Taken King?
Well, first off, the reason why we're calling Taken King the big DLC is because it's the one we enjoyed the most, and we actually stopped playing Destiny 1 before Rise of Iron released. So, if Rise of Iron was actually better than The Taken King, we don't know. We never played it.
I wasn't.
I was concerned, or not concerned, I was interested in it, but not enough to buy the DLC and get back
Well,
into
the
it.
also reason why
Like,
I'm actually calling it the big
We pretty much
DLC.
broke up the band after the hard mode raid for Oryx came out.
Destiny broke up the band.
The reason
they
why
didn't have any good new events.
Yeah, the reason why I'm calling it the big DLC is because not only was it like a lot larger scale
It was
than
practically like half of a second game.
exactly, and they actually added new cinematics to the game. So that's why I call it the big DLC. It really did feel like part 2 of Destiny. Everything that they didn't get to do in Destiny the first year, they added it into this game.
You know what I liked about it? It felt like a horror movie DLC.
Yeah.
It was building up to this.
Like, do you remember?
Evil that
Do you
you
remember when
couldn't
you were
fucking
walking
contain.
through that? You got the distress thing, and you're walking through, and you seen the Cabal get torn to shreds.
Yeah.
And at least like something's there. It's there. I'm like, this is fucking badass. What the
What's
hell's
there? And then this big projection of this big ass motherfucker shows up. He's like, "Hi," but in his own tongue, he's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, it actually feels like this movie I watched called The Void.
I'm gonna kill you."
Where
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it starts feeling more and more gruesome.
Yeah.
And you start seeing more and more abominations. It's so good.
But
Oh my god. But yeah, other than that, the story.
No, the
did-
story
I gonna say
was
this
good.
way.
I
This-
liked
the,
it.
the storyline along the way for everything you did was interesting. The characters actually had more personality, more lines, more stuff to do, good cinematics. I like the fact that you didn't just go to one planet section other than the sections on the Dreadnought, because that was like one specific spot.
I love that
But
thing so much.
The Dreadnought was great. That's why I could look past it, but like in previous DLCs or expansions and even the main story, you'd go on a planet and you'd go through the same route 5 or 6 times and just make a right turn instead of a left turn to finish the story mission. This one, it takes you to 5 different fucking planets where these people are
I think that's another thing I liked about the Taken King.
It takes you to the moon, it takes you on Earth. I'm pretty sure you go to Venus and Mars, both on different times. Plus you go to the Cabal distress signal in the opening mission, which you don't ever go back to. And then you also have the Dreadnought that you're on for the second half of the
No,
fucking
see, that's what I'm saying.
story.
Like, that's what
I
that's
like that the Cabal were fighting them too.
yeah.
That was
But
great.
see, that's what I'm saying.
Until
like,
you showed up and he's like, "Hey, wait. Remember when I hated you, but I also hate them? Yeah, now fuck you. I'm attacking
the
you
friend
instead."
of my enemy is still
Oh
my
my
enemy.
god, I would hate it once they're fighting each
The
other. Like,
enemy of my
hey,
enemy.
look, you guys are fighting each other. Oh shit, fire at this guy. But
the enemy of my enemy is still my fucking enemy.
No, no,
guy.
Fucked that up so bad.
But no, what I was saying is like for the Dark Below add-on, it didn't really feel like an add-on because all you did was go back to the moon, a place I hated. I hated the moon. I hated.
Yeah, I think in the
hated-
story, the moon was the most annoying part
I
for
hated
me.
least in Venus. No, Venus pissed me off. I hated Venus. And then for the
Venus at least looked nice.
But then for House of Wolves, they added the Reef, which is cool. It's a whole new social gathering place. But
They also added new stuff on Venus, like the inner workings of the mountain that you had to go to fight all the different
but I'm
fallen
saying like it
factions.
wasn't anything new. With the Dreadnought, it may have been a ship, but it was a huge ship.
And the amount of like scavenger hunt shit you got to do when you went there was so much better compared to everything else. Like it was actually interesting, and they had their own little like mini boss pit
yeah,
area.
that was badass.
The fucking portal, which was a lot of fun. You'd get pretty cool shit out of it.
And let's not forget one of my favorite things. strikes that were introduced with the Taken King DLC.
Yeah, the Shield Brothers was really good.
Favorite,
so much fun.
favorite strike that was implemented in that. The Shield Brothers were awesome. That felt, and what was even better, they weren't bullet sponges. There was one that shot out fucking mortars, but
Well, they were kind of bullet sponges, but they were not nearly as.
Dude, one guy
tanky.
just fucking charged at you and like swung his big ass
they
weapon.
were mobile and had more action.
Well, they were
Exactly.
mobile bullet sponges. That's why I said they were easier to take down, but they fucking did not let you take them down.
Exactly. So like it was felt more enjoyable. It felt like I was actually doing something instead of just sitting back and shooting.
And then the other one, which was. Well, I'll let you finish this first.
No, I actually finished that.
But the other strike that they had, which personally I liked more
That's
because
my
it
favorite
showed,
strike.
which showed more parts of the Dreadnought that we don't normally get to, was the Sword of Darkness raid or whatever it's called.
Oh
where
wait,
you
then they
go-
added 4. Holy shit.
where you fucking go through the Dreadnought, find all these different areas, shoot the little summoning portals, and then you get to this long ass bridge with all these thralls coming out, and you execute them all in single file line, and you just keep going, and your ghost is like, once you go down there, you're not going back, and you just see a black hole in the floor, and you jump down there, and then this big motherfucker with a sword just walks out of the darkness into the one part of the room that you can see him at right now, and he's like, it's fucking on.
That was cool.
So much fun. I died so many
Like
times.
that's what I'm
there.
saying. That's why I felt like the Taken King was part
Not
2
to
of
mention, his
Destiny
helmet
1.
was probably the best DLC
I got that
item.
shit. I got that
in that
shit. I
game.
love that fact that I got that shit.
The Titan helmet was so
the
clean. And that was another thing.
looking-
Every strike had their own specific item for a different class.
the
Titan had the helmet. There was a raid, or not a raid, a strike on the Earth, which was Fallen, which had a Warlock helmet. The Shield Brothers, I think, also had a Titan item. I think it was like a chest piece or
I think it was a
an
chest
arm
piece.
piece. I can't remember.
But also they had the awesome fucking cloak for the hunters.
yeah.
And then but you also had the cloak from you get
yeah.
a cloak from that
Oh, yeah,
guy that
right. In House of Wolves, they also added some specific class stuff, like was that House of Wolves?
No,
came in?
that was
also
the
Taken
King was
that was
the one
the
that
Taken
added
King.
the-
The
Okay, yeah,
same
that
strike we
explains-
just talking about.
Strike.
Yeah,
where you get
that
stuff
one.
for the
Yeah,
hunt.
one of the only good strikes on the moon. That was on the moon, right? Or was that in Venus?
That was on which one are you talking about?
The one where you fight the Kells, or not the Kells? That's Skolas. The Kell that's on his own ship that you chase throughout his ship, and then
That was on Venus.
the exclusive drop is the really cool
Red
red and
scarf,
blue, the
yeah.
red blue scarf.
That was badass.
I liked it. It
Wait,
wasn't as good as the ones on the Dreadnought.
Wait,
there
so
was
there
four.
Was there 5 or 4 strikes that?
Well, I know there's the 2 on the Dreadnought, which were the 2 best. There was that one on Venus, and then there was the one on Earth where you fought the big version.
No, but the
of
dregs. You literally just mentioned them. Not the dregs. The scions. Those guys are strikes
right.
too. So they were 5.
Technically, yeah, but that was a PlayStation exclusive strike until that came out. That was with PlayStation on day one.
But that was still a strike though. That was added with the Taken King.
Yeah, and that one was pretty cool.
I forgot how much was the DLC for all of them.
Let's see. The first one.
Each one I think was
$20.
Was yeah, something around there.
Each one was 20 bucks.
I could have sworn it was like $30.
I think Taken King might have been 40 because it was
yeah,
such a
I
bigger
think-
one.
Yeah, I think Taken King was. 40.
No, but you know what? 40 for Taken King. That's not bad. I literally say Taken King was worth 40 bucks. Like it's always hard for me to admit when something's worth its full asking price. And Taken King was literally worth 40 bucks. I really don't have many cons with it. The only cons I have with Taken King is just they really didn't fix the fucking reward system for me. And that's what upset me the most, because there were so many good items that they added for like aesthetic for your gear, for weapons. I love the Taken King's weapons and armor and shit, but they didn't fix any of the rewards. Like Ziegler was saying, when you did the raid, our favorite raid, which was the Taken King raid, and you go through like so
Literal
much
hell
death.
and back.
Yes, and the only thing you actually get out of a chest that you're expecting something great from is a ghost.
Pretty
That's
much, like when we finally did the hard raid, I only did it once because my character was so weak compared to the requirements that I had to go through it once to get the higher level items and just pray that after each section where you got a reward, I'd get a high enough level item to increase my light total to pursue further without as much of a struggle. I got a ghost in the first section that you get a reward from. After that, I didn't get anything else until you beat the boss, and I got a pair of boots. That's why I ended my opening impression with all you got is a ghost and a pair of boots.
Oh, honestly,
because
like,
that was the last fucking straw. Because I was like, I'm not going to be able to increase my level anymore.
I guess the only other con
it wasn't worth it for me.
I guess the only other con I had,
but I was done at that point.
With Taken King is, even though they implemented so many new things for Destiny, it felt like at that point it was already so far gone for me for Destiny, and after I finished Taken King, I wasn't going to play Destiny again. And you know what? I was completely right. Because I stopped playing Destiny after, like...
They couldn't top it.
They couldn't top it. Even though Rise of Iron came out, I heard Rise of Iron was pretty good. Okay. It wasn't the best, but it was okay.
Like, what did they add?
I heard the raid was pretty interesting, if not incredibly difficult.
Yeah, like you said, a raid. I think they probably added a couple new strikes, maybe.
Yeah. They added a couple of new strikes, another minor storyline involving, like, Lord Saladin coming back to the tower, like, not permanently, obviously, because he only ever shows up in the Iron Banner shit, but like it was more about his story. Apparently I don't know if it was an item you actually got or if it was like a story specific item, but you got to wield like his cool looking flaming axe that they showed in his trailer.
Nice. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like they couldn't top.
I think they added a additional fallen enemy, but I can't remember.
It was honestly the Taken King was the perfect pinnacle to Destiny 1 for me. That if that was actually introduced at the beginning of Destiny 1 with good story and good reward system, I think I definitely would have stuck out with Destiny and continued playing it to this day. But as soon as we were finished with the raid, and we honestly were some of the first people to beat the raid. Honestly. Like, when we beat the raid, at that point... I
think we were in, like, the tops, like, the first 17 to 25% that completed it.
No, below that. We were the top 3. 3% that completed it. 3.96. I remember reading that.
I remember the first time we did it, like, Israel is the only one who had any clue on what the fuck to do in that raid. It took us 5.5 hours. We started at midnight. The sun was up when we finished it.
That was long. Yeah, that was long. 500 hours. We started cheering at 7 o'clock in the morning that we did it. And my mom came out and was like, Dyllan, what are you guys screaming? I was like, Mom, we did it! And she's like, that's great, Dyllan, go to bed.
I love how I'm gonna look like a loser.
And pretty much, like, the one thing that, like, the best memory I have of that raid was before, like, the one, when we finally beat Oryx, I didn't expect to actually beat Oryx that time, but someone was taking a break, like, probably had to use the restroom or grab some food or something, so I had every one of us, like, get in a pose, and I sat down, and then I came back after that, and I put it, like, a picture, and it's, like, pretty much, like, when you see a picture of, like, your dad when he was in the army, and he has a picture of all his war buddies before he goes out into fucking, like, the jungle, or where, like, if it was a Vietnam War.
You make me feel so proud right now.
Like, we literally, that was like the picture you take right before you drop into Ground Zero.
I want you to print out that picture one day.
Well, honestly, I'm hoping that we can get the picture put into this podcast episode just to, like, show the picture, because that's, like, a memory that I always want to keep.
Send it to me, I'll do it. I want all of us to sign it, and when I'm like 75 years old, my grandkids are asking, Grandpa,
who are the worst Guardians you've ever heard of?
Who are those guys in that picture? Well, Sonny Jim, that's me, my friends. Let me tell you the story
of the worst Guardians you've ever heard of.
Let me tell you the story of us defeating a man named Oryx. Who's Oryx? Well, he was the Taken King. And I tell him this fantastic story. He's like, so you actually fought in space battles? Why, yes I did, Sonny. And his dad's like, okay, your grandpa's spinning his tails again. Can I be the worst Guardian ever told?
All you have to do is be a Guardian and be terrible at it. You're on your way, sport. Gee, thanks, Grandpa.
You'll be the Michael Jordan, or in this case, the teddy bear killer of Guardians.
But no,
I don't think I ever remember you dunking the orb into the witch, though.
No, I did. You just didn't see it.
Yeah, it was funny
because you
I always
didn't do it.
I always loved it. Walter was usually the one that got chosen to be that person.
It was either me or Walter, or sometimes Israel.
And he would always be like, shit. And
everybody wipe.
Because he wouldn't get, because he knew he could do it, but he knew if he wasn't on the actual people firing and like had to actually deliver that thing, we would fuck up.
The amount of times I fucked myself over by thinking I made a jump and forgetting the jetpack an extra little bit.
It was so hard to tell where I was going.
And I'm like,
with that thing.
fuck! I missed the jump, guys. and they were just like, "Fuck, everyone
I
wipe
love
it." Would
that.
just jump off.
I love the
I always loved it when
that were going along
Izzer
with it.
and Walter would say "fuck," everyone wipe it. We just like, yeah, we jump off. You just see Oryx back there is like, well, shit,
Just
I gotta sit here.
disappointed as fuck.
But like that, but like going back to the picture, like it means so much more to me that like we finally had a group that we could raid with, because up until we met them, like it was just the three of us, sometimes Dylan's older brother Israel, and a couple of randoms, usually some of Israel's friends. And like once we got Walter and Rainmaker, unfortunately Rainmaker is not in the picture, but the way I positioned it, you could say he's taking the picture of us.
Silver Fang, one day we'll meet again, my friend.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll be able to platform well enough.
Kakashi sucks monkey dick.
But just that picture, and right after that picture was taken, he was like, "Alright guys, I'm back, let's do this." And we fucking managed to nail that motherfucker into his oversized coffin and shoot him into Saturn. Fucking, it was just such...
I
shit like that is why I
stared at that image of that man.
moments
being
like that is why I live for like gaming.
No,
Yeah,
honestly, like
that was a gaming high.
a lot of people always talk about like how they like, man, whenever you like see someone make a touch, like I don't know, like I remember Israel used to tell me like he used to love seeing a Super Bowl game, and whenever you see your team cross,
Like
the
when you
line,
see the Giants finally make it to the Super Bowl,
I
even
watch
though
every-
they've been
I
sucking
watch-
every
I've
fucking
watched
year,
every Super
and they
Bowl
go up
every
against
year.
the Patriots who win every fucking year, and they spank the Patriots the 2 fucking years they make it into the Super Bowl.
I watch Super Bowl every year, but like sometimes when you play a game like that and you put in the time, you put in the hours, it could be for anything. It doesn't need to be a video game, but when you put in the time and you put in the hours and the work, and you see something like that pay off, you know you like everything just hits you at that moment. All the emotions come running in. When we saw Oryx die and float off into the abyss of space.
That was a happy, sad moment because we were done with it.
Yeah, no, exactly. When we first beat it and we found out that we were like amongst the 3% that first completed that raid, we were like, oh my god, we did it. We were so happy. And then after it was done, we all just kind of the three of us sat down and were like, so what do we do now?
And then in true South Park fashion, I was like, what do you mean? Now I can finally play the game.
We never got to learn anything else.
You know what's
about
even
it.
better? The moment when we got those people like staring at us when we went back to the
When we
tower.
actually... Yeah, the one time...
Where-
I missed the discovery though. I just wanted to say that real quick. Like when you beat the raid, there's nothing else to discover about it, and you're like,
No, see, that's what I'm saying
Aw.
too. You really felt like that awe-inspiring moment that you completed. Like, it makes me think of this song this guy made, "The Ward is Saved." He sings about like how this guy spends hours and hours every night playing this fantasy RPG game he loves, and finally when he beat the game, he was so happy. But then the song lyrics end by saying like, now you have to like shut off the game, get ready for work, like brush your teeth and everything, get back to your normal life because the ward is now saved. You beat the game, but now you have to return to everything you did prior to that. And I felt the same way. After we defeated the hardest raid in Destiny history at that point, I felt empty because, oh my god, we literally just did everything in this game.
And then Rise of Iron came out, and we were like, fuck that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna beat
What
seeing
the
Oryx's
fuck? Fallen? That ain't a big, giant, motherfucking bat-winged fuck-off hellspawn.
I don't even remember anyone talk. Like, I never saw anyone talk on YouTube about the
No, again, Rise of Iron
DLC's
just.
boss.
But anyways,
Final boss.
okay,
What was it?
we're getting a little bit too much on
I
the
don't
hype
know.
train of our past.
But there's just like so much to talk
No,
about the
I
raid.
know,
I
I
mean,
know.
I don't think I found any part of that raid uninteresting. Maybe the part where you have to look for those platforms to open up the door, because I would just sit on the closest one and wait for everyone else to fucking get to their position.
For me, it was climbing up that fucking whole bunch of platforms.
Oh, because you didn't
Yeah,
have a
up.
sword.
No, I did.
No, that platform was fun because every once in a while you see a fuck that couldn't make it and get bitch slapped off by those punching things.
That was me. Like, sometimes it wouldn't even be the punch. Like, I'd land improperly, and I'd hit the edge, I'd hit a curb off of where I was supposed to land, and you just see me, boom.
No, I remember
And
one
fuck
time.
the first
I remember
people.
one time. I remember. No, Ziegler, I
I
remember.
was one of the first people to get a sword.
Yeah,
I know that
but
that actually pissed me off.
Ziegler.
I started grinding for the exotic sword 2 days before everyone else, and I was the last one to
Ziegler.
get the components for
Ziegler.
it.
Ziegler, I remember fucking Israel
RNG was not
got
fucking
knocked
good
off
to
by
me.
that thing one time. And he's like, ah, shit. And I stood there laughing like, ha, 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 ha. And I laughed too long. And then I got off and I was like, oh, wait, oh, fuck.
It was great. You don't know what's happening till it's already done.
Exactly. And you just see Walsh like up there like shaking his head like, idiot. But no.
It could be worse. At least I didn't get stuck in the grav lift and have to kill myself.
That was great.
Wait, I didn't have to kill myself.
Yeah, no, he actually got off.
I got out because of my sword.
Yeah,
But no,
but Dyllan and Israel, when they got stuff, had to kill themselves with their
Yeah.
grenades.
But no, so, but that, final thoughts on Destiny 1. Just let me hear what you guys' final thoughts on Destiny 1 as a whole. Did the game live up to what you wanted? And when I say Destiny 1, I mean add in all the DLCs.
No. In a short answer, no. However, because of how it started, and it did disappoint me, and the reward system was lackluster, and yes, Dark Below is not the best expansion pack, and I wish they would have done something a little better with that. But as the expansion packs came in, because it's like when you hear that a movie isn't that good, like, say, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where people are complaining it's more of the same, too much comedy, blah, 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 and then you watch it, and you really enjoy the movie for what it is. And it was so underhyped after that for you, because you had seen the first part, you were like, well, I guess this is as good as it's gonna get. And then it slowly gets better, and when it slowly gets better, like, it feels even greater than that to you, because of how low you were at the low. And, like, the Taken King, to me, was the perfect send-off type dealio for the game. I didn't think it needed the Rise of Iron. For me, my story ended in the Taken King. And, like, expansion pack-wise, and original story, Destiny as the game was a 6, slightly above average. Dark Below was like a 5. Completely average, nothing too interesting. House of Wolves was like an 8, and Taken King was like a 9. Only like a couple of things that I had problems with, and it took it down one notch from being a perfect DLC pack. And like all in all, that would make Destiny like I'd say a 7.5, 8 out of 10 game for me.
Damn.
And not a lot of people will agree with that. Some people who thoroughly enjoyed it might be mad I didn't give it a higher rating. People would probably be mad that I didn't give it a lower rating, but that's how I feel. And I really enjoyed the game for what it was worth, and I really hope that Destiny 2 is off the bat at least 8 out of 10 material, because anything 8 out of 10 or higher for me is a game that I know I'll be playing for a long fucking time and enjoying for a long fucking time.
#worth.
Alright, Cardo?
For me, it wasn't what I wanted it to be, but it did branch into something that I did find fun. The multiplayer, I was always sad that there was no competitive aspect to it, as in, like, it could be an actual esport.
Yeah.
Like, I hope Destiny 2 could add that in for me. They have the clans going on, but I legitimately want to be able to take myself into the mainstream of sports with this. And I want other people to enjoy the game as much, because it'll bring more people in if we could do that. Just like how we do with League of Legends and other stuff. But it's like, one of the things we didn't talk about, we didn't get a chance to yet, was the secret missions and stuff for secret gear.
Yeah.
Like, this laser cannon fucking shot out really good shit. Yeah. It was like, that stuff, they should have been adding that in. That was at the end with Taken King.
Yeah,
they should have added.
They were all in.
Beginning.
I think they were like all in Taken King. There was that one.
Yeah,
there was the special gun that you get for collecting specific shards or whatever, and getting like a certain amount, and then you get that gun, and it's strong and it drains your life, but it was like one of the best weapons to use in the raid for like one specific part, and you'd have to have it.
Yeah, I wish that was from the beginning of the
there
game.
was a strike where there was a special exotic sniper rifle where you can only get it where instead of completing the strike, you run into a specifically different direction and you get into a fallen ship portal, and you have to do it within 3 minutes of the second half of the mission starting, and then you fight this Taken boss that's like a Taken fallen captain, constantly summons a shit ton of waves, and if you kill them, there's a chance you get the exotic sniper rifle. Or maybe it was guaranteed, but like the ship or something was a really low roll. But like shit like that made you think. It made you have to explore and figure it out. Or wait until someone makes a YouTube video about it and then you know how to do it. And like the Dreadnought, all those, like I said, there was like so many different like secret chest areas. Like you'd find runes randomly on the ground and you'd have to go to a specific area on the Dreadnought and put the rune there, and it's like a door opened like in 3 different sections off from there. Go there, you kill some enemies, you pick up a clue, it tells you to go to this part, a door opens, you fight a boss, and you go through there and there's a chest and it has some really nice shit in there.
I've been smiling and shaking my head yes the whole damn time.
No, because yes,
so
that was the stuff that made Destiny more for me, and I love that aspect.
Yeah.
Which is why it made me sad the fact that none of the beginning game had any of that.
Yeah.
You had to wait like almost 2 years after the release of Destiny 1 to get that.
Yeah. My rating for Destiny 1 would be 5 out of 10. Then, what was the Crota's End? Whatever.
Dark Below.
Dark Below. I would give that a 6. Just because it was slightly better. House of Wolves, I would give that a 7 because there were a lot of things I wish they added more of. And definitely a 9.5 fucking Taken King. Which just felt so good. My only problem with the whole damn series is that the music isn't that good.
No, honestly,
Yeah,
I cannot.
for the creators of
rem-
Halo, their score for Destiny was definitely
I
lackluster.
cannot remember a single track from Destiny. I could literally hum out the tunes for so many Halo games and everything else. But Halo 3 right there.
Just doing that, you could get ahead.
I like that score. Overall, that score seems to be around almost the same around of Ziegler, so like around a 7.5 for you for the total of the game.
Yeah, altogether, I give it a 6.
But,
Taken King's so good, but it gets dragged down by all the other shit.
and that's kind of where my rating kind of fall off. Destiny 1 was such an average game, honestly. Destiny 1 without the DLCs was such an average game for me, and it was huge disappointment in a lot of ways. Definitely was a 5 out of 10 for me.
We didn't even talk about them taking out Peter Dinklage.
Oh
Made no
my
fucking sense to me.
god! I still don't know why they were. Could they not get him back for the Taken King?
I guess he was too expensive at that point to do reshoots.
No one liked him apparently. I loved Dinklebot. Dinklebot was awesome.
I honestly didn't hear a distinct difference between him and the other guy.
The other guy was a little bit more like.
He was telling me plans like send 10,000 troops to Castle Rock, and
Oh,
then
shut up.
fucking the Lannisters would invade my other place.
Yeah.
Oh please!
but
That
no.
episode's been out for a month now.
But no,
At
okay,
least 2.
Okay, but no, but yeah, Destiny 1 as a game without the DLCs was 5 out of 10 for me. The Dark Below was a 5 out of 10 for me. It wasn't that good in my opinion. I did not like the Dark Below. So many things about that thing did not. The House of Wolves was an 8 out of 10 for me because I really liked a lot of the new weapons and figureheads it brought to the table, and I love the Fallen so much. I'm so glad that they got the second DLC pack, and you get to know more about their culture and their livelihood through that. And of course, the Taken King DLC was a straight up 9 out of 10, 9.5 for me. It was a great DLC. It felt like part 2 of a game that was so incomplete.
Yeah.
So incomplete.
It's kind of funny. Essentially,
I feel
it's
like
like
Activision had a lot to do with that.
See, a lot of people blame Activision, but to me, I also kind of blame Bungie. I do, because the reason why is because Bungie has worked on a good number of games in the past, but they've never worked on, like, a game like Destiny. They were trying so hard to make Destiny, like, a giant kind of, like, not MMO, but in that regards
Most
of
people
one.
see it as a partnership. I kind of see it more as a producer. You know, executive producer kind of shit.
Yeah.
The one that works for the studio, telling the Edgar Wright director, who's brilliant and artistic, not autistic. Don't confuse the two assholes.
Yeah.
What I was saying there was that, yeah, it felt like one was dictating the other a couple of good things.
But, yeah, but...
telling
no,
them not
but
to put in everything.
At the end of Destiny, for me, the final rating would definitely be around a 7.5 out of 10 as a whole game. So
I find it funny though. It's like Destiny 1 gets a 5 out of 10, and then Destiny 1.5, The Taken King, gets a 9 out of 10.
it's so good.
It's practically 1.5.
It's its own game.
Yeah, for me, a game has to be at least a 3. I can
Like-
have fun with a 3.
No, I can have fun with a 3 too. There are elements in a 3 that I can have enjoy.
Alright, but in all seriousness, we gotta stop sucking the Taken King's dick and get on to Destiny 2 stuff.
Okay, because we're all running a little bit high, so let's go over quickly some of the predictions and hopes we have for Destiny 2 coming up. So now this will be the section where I flip over from the Destiny 1 images and shit and go over to Destiny 2 images. We'll try to hurry this one along a bit more since we don't know how long we're going to have this energy and this hype since we're not talking about the Taken King anymore.
Yep, sucking that dude.
Okay, but I guess let's start off with Ziegler. Ziegler, what are some of the things you're really hoping for from Destiny 2 and what it could bring to the table over Destiny 1?
More Taken King and more nude scenes.
I'm with you, brother. All right,
But
podcast over.
Yeah, I mean, Mass Effect can do it. Why can't we? I mean, granted, half of them are...
You actually used the same line, you prick.
I mean, no, but seriously, granted, half of the people in this series are robots, so they probably don't have genitalia.
I want to actually ask
but-
you something. Besides the 2 women you see their faces of, the Awoken asshole and the entire Awoken place that
we don't want to see
not-
the brother's ass.
But I'm saying, like, they're dead. So there's actually only 3 characters we see the faces of that's not in actual full-body gear.
Well, I'm pretty sure you see Commander Shepard's ass in some of the nude scenes.
Gross.
So it's not like it's specifically
what if Shepard,
like women.
what if it's the female Shepard?
No, I keep thinking male.
Yeah, no, you
Well,
see
then
the
you-
thing male.
That's the
Well, I
patriarchy
mean, I'm pretty
in my head.
I mean, I'm pretty
Control.
sure, like, even as female Shepard, you could date the ugly
No.
frog chicken dude.
Nice.
What ugly frog chick? What
The tank character of Mass Effect universe. That's like the big bulky red guy who looks like a mix between a chicken and a
Oh,
frog.
okay.
I'm pretty sure he has sex scenes.
The robot
They gave
was-
everybody in that game a sex scene, Dyllan. Destiny can't even get an innuendo.
For me, I want more scavenger
But no.
hunt and secrets. Like,
Oh,
that
no.
stuff makes the game fun when you find something you never fucking thought you could.
Ro-
It's like a
like-
Westworld kind of thing.
Basically, reward someone for being curious.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, obviously, I expect them to have learned from their mistakes and learned from their successes on the Taken King, but with all seriousness, obviously, there doesn't need to be nude scenes. It's not... is it rated M for mature, or is it T for teens?
T for teen.
Oh,
yeah.
that's stupid. They
Well,
should-
you have to remember, blood and gore has to be a huge thing, and a lot of sex and tobacco have to be. There's, for the rated R rating,
Cade
you really,
6 don't smoke.
you have to have huge, like. Again, for instance, if you just have tobacco, alcohol, and drugs, and maybe a little bit of violence, that's considered a T game. If you have like literal like things like what's it called, Fallout or Grand Theft Auto, that's a rated M mature game.
Yeah.
I need, like, someone that's really raunchy, and I need someone who's just gonna curse a shit ton. Like, react to things in a way that I can relate to, rather than being stoic all the fucking time.
I just imagine fucking Zavala, like, don't worry, Guardian, we're going to get through this safely. And he gets shot randomly by, like, one of the Cabals in the first minute. He's like, oh, fuck me.
That's relatable.
But, no,
Get hurt? Yeah, it fucking hurts.
But, a serious, interest that I'd like in the game, definitely hope they learned better story building than in Destiny 1. I want the villain to be more interesting. Like, I want him to be Taken King interesting and not Heart of Darkness, big ball in the background of a gate that makes you fight 3 giant mechs.
Doesn't even fucking talk. What's worse about it is super easy.
Yeah, all you have to do is hide, like in most of the fucking fights in Destiny.
Yeah, I also want it to be where they adjust, like, the levels, because when you go through, like, an area like Earth or someplace and you're just going through, everyone's easy. You just pop them in the head once, they're dead.
Or if it's the
They're
Vex,
more
you
of an
pop them in the
inconvenience
stomach
than
once
an
and they're
actual
dead.
enemy at a certain point, you know?
I didn't mind the patrols. I did mind the fact that you couldn't switch to patrol levels.
Another thing I'm hoping
It was always basic, whatever it was on that planet.
Yeah, they're like level 3s all over the place. You're
One
like, oh, just
another
shoot
thing
them
I'm
once.
hoping for is more story missions. That was a little annoying in part 1 and even in the DLC, where it's like 2 missions on one planet, 2 missions on one planet, 3 missions on one planet, 4 missions on the final planet, and the final boss. And then in DLC it was like 2 missions on one planet, 2 missions on the other planet, take down the baddie that they implemented, and then there's a raid at the end.
Yeah, and then there's hardly any story.
Like, I want at least 4 story missions per planet, and as you get farther into the story, make it more immersive.
What I really want to feel is with that is the idea of, like, maybe not even add, like, sections of story on the planet. Maybe actually just add, like, the idea of, like, going to that planet and you're able to go to certain scenes of when it actually happens or occurs. Or something. Like, make it feel more immersive. Make us actually feel like, shit, you know, I really want to continue the story, but there's something over there I want to check out. You know, give us an actual... Give us
like,
an
I want it to be worth my time and money, and I want there to be time for my money, and I don't want that time to just be, oh, the next mission, after I beat this level 5 mission, I go to the next planet, and I should be recommended level 10, so I have to grind in the Crucible and get my ass handed to me with white weapons for fucking 2 hours until I'm level 10, where I feel comfortable fighting the next mission. I don't want that to be the time I spend in the story. I want it to be a good story that doesn't take, like, 4 hours or less to beat if you're adequately leveled the whole time spearing through it. Because in the Destiny 1 storyline, not including any DLC, if you're on par with every mission, you could run through that in probably 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, I'd probably say around 4 hours.
I want there to be stakes, too. Like, I want there to be characters that you can lose. You remember the best pilot in the fucking core?
Yes.
Yeah,
that person isn't a stake.
Huh?
That's not a stake.
The fuck you, alright? Talking here. I didn't interrupt your punk ass. You don't interrupt my punk ass.
Yeah, but you're talking about stakes when we're talking about Destiny, man.
Anyway, I want there to be characters that die and have, like
the Queen's brother. Poor
I don't want everyone to feel like they have plot armor.
Rip Queen's brother.
I want people to feel like there are flaws to mistakes and stuff.
We hardly knew your name.
I would like that. But it's just like you have the best pilot in the core, go into the Taken King stuff, and
shoot
go back to that.
Shoot that one little explosive piece in the
head. Yeah, and then she just does everything.
That's the fucking analogy I wanted to make. If you count Destiny 1 and all of its DLCs, Destiny 1 was the prequel trilogy, Dark Below and House of Wolves was New Hope, fucking Taken King was Empire Strikes Back, and fucking
so
Rise
weird,
of Iron
is
Return of the Jedi.
Exactly. In most people's eyes, because it's like, yeah, there was something lost there, you know?
Yeah, like the entire Awoken armed forces, except for the 2 people you met in the House of Wolves, seemingly lived.
I want to count Taken King into Empire Strikes Back territory, because it feels more like Return of the Jedi is fucking that last one that nobody gave a shit about. That was the Ewoks fucking DLC.
Really, I actually really like the New Hope more than Empire Strikes Back.
That's
New
fair.
Hope?
I mean, I liked episode.
That one didn't have Ewoks, so I'm fine with that.
No,
I mean, I liked episode 6 as much as the next guy. Or not 6,
I'm just
7.
saying most people's favorite.
No, I always find that weird. How people would say Empire Strikes Back is their favorite. I'm like, I
never met anyone that liked Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi wasn't bad. It
was pretty bad.
It wasn't that bad.
Remember that time Darth Vader looked at his son getting shocked by the Emperor? And looked towards his son, and then looked to Emperor Palpatine, and then looked towards his son,
I love that
and then looked
comment
towards
you made
Emperor
yesterday.
Palpatine.
The comment you missed. What was that comment you said yesterday?
What, 11? Like, I'm just gonna let my son get shocked for like 3.5 minutes.
Before I make a decision.
But no, so,
Then he just picks him up. He didn't even, like, use his lightsaber to cut his head off. What the fuck was that?
Oh yeah, he picked him up and left the church.
What the fuck am I dealing with
No
here?
force, no lightsaber, just human strength when he doesn't have arms.
You know what's even worse about that? Palpatine didn't do shit. He was just like, what are you doing? Palpatine was like a scared child. He's picking me up. What do I do? What do I do? Oh wait, I can just fucking.
I can electrocute him or use force to grab my lightsaber. In fact, I should do that now. Hey, Darth Vader, I'll see you. Oh fuck, I'm getting thrown down a hole.
But here's the weird thing about that. Luke Skywalker fell down a hole and survived.
And just like Luke Skywalker...
Wait a minute. I want to ask, wasn't one of Darth Vader's hands cut off at that point?
Yeah.
Did he? So he basically picked him up one-handed. He was just kind of there to like balance birds.
What happened to his lightsaber? Did it like disappear? Did Luke not pick it up for memorabilia?
Luke was on the ground being shot for 3 minutes.
when he got him out of there.
He left. He bolted.
He got the fuck out of there, man.
No. He took his dad's helmet off and had that heart to heart. Where the fuck was his lightsaber?
He left it there.
What the fuck kind of bullshit is that?
The same kind of bullshit. This fucker left all of society to get fat and old and just started sitting on a rock all day.
Who? Oh, Luke?
Yeah, talking about the Force Awakens.
He didn't get fat. He got wise. Pelagius the Wise.
Speaking of which, fandom, have I ever told you the tragedy of Darth Pelagius the Wise?
We are getting completely off track. I'm so sorry. But what I really want from Destiny 2 is just... I know I sound like a broken record, but I want to actually feel like I'm being rewarded by putting in the time and effort into what I'm doing. If I'm playing a raid and it's taking... They make it so it takes you about 9 hours to complete, you know? And you play this game, and you play the raid, and you do it. I want to feel like I'm getting the necessary treasures I need to get. I know you want to try to give that kind of mystery vibe and be like, oh, you didn't get it this time, but you can try again later. At least give me something for my effort. And I'm not even just talking about a fucking ghost. I mean something good that can make me more powerful.
Like a ghost with lasers.
Because if I'm not strong enough to do this raid, or if I don't have the same strike team that I had before, then I'm fucked, you know?
Yeah, I want more sci-fi and fantasy, less Call of Duty, please.
I want a better reward system. I want to feel like I'm being rewarded for doing good in the Crucible. I want to feel like I'm being fucking I'm doing all this shit for nothing. I want to know that they're actually doing a lot better. They put in a lot better system input for the reward system. I want, like Ziegler said, more story, but not just story for the main story. I want to know more about the actual wards I'm going to.
Also, we never learned anything about the Traveler. A game and 4 DLCs. Not a fucking thing about
Well, we learned one thing from Destiny 2.
What is it? I thought you could go in there or something when I first got the game.
Ricardo, we learned one thing about the Traveler from Destiny 2.
It's gonna get captured?
His ass is gone.
Yeah.
But
his speakers
I knew we were going to learn too much from the Traveler.
They take him. He doesn't do anything.
Exactly. Now we can do nothing.
I knew we weren't going to learn too much from the Traveler. It just upset me for how much they would showcase this is the Traveler. Ooh, when you get Destiny 2, you get a fucking statue of the Traveler.
I wish it was a social space you can go into or something.
They're saving that for Destiny 3.
What I really, really am hoping is that there's a better way to communicate with the community. Besides just going on forums and be like, hey, I want to do this raid. Does anyone want to join me?
Yeah,
I want to feel like there's an actual way to communicate with these people. I want to actually feel like I'm getting rewarded for the shit I'm putting into. I want to feel like I can actually build my character to become stronger without having the tediously need of grinding repeatedly just to get upset because I'm not getting anything from that.
Yeah. Also, I don't want to have to pay for anything. When you pay for the game, why am I paying for more stuff? This time around.
I understand the idea of microtransactions. That's in every MMO period.
Yeah, I don't like that. I want that out. It's just... I understand League of Legends skins, because that's a company that has a game that's free to play. But it's you pay for these things. It's just dancing. They just added dance moves and that's it. And I'm
that's something you don't really like. It's not something you need to buy, so I don't want to see too much of a problem.
You don't need to buy it, but I think it should have came with a game you paid a lot of money for.
What I really want, what I really want? I want more interactive things. Because remember how they had the jukebox and the tower?
And the soccer ball in the tower.
See, I want something more interactive. Again, something so you can be placed more with this community that you can put into.
Soccer ball for Vanguard 2020.
My biggest thing is that I want
more of a physics thing and less of a fun.
I want more lore.
They just put the ball there so you can admire the physics of when you kick.
I want lore that I don't need to go to the website, click on a specific grimoire, and read it, or unlock grimoires. I want to actually know more about the ward through the game and actions I'm doing.
That was the one. I never understood that. Why do I gotta go to a website? You guys code in all these soccer balls and shit, but you guys couldn't code in a fucking index of where everything is? Even fucking The Witcher had a fucking bestiary. I didn't have to go to the fucking website and learn about werewolves there.
I guess the final biggest thing I want for Destiny 2 is just a good runtime. I don't want to know that I got this game and I beat it within 5 hours.
Yeah, I want it to take at least say about 10 days, give or take.
I don't ever want to beat the game.
That's not for me. I just want to feel like I actually got my money's worth. If I can beat the game even a solo run within like at least 8 to 12 hours, I will consider that a pretty good length. Because anything that drags on from that point, I think it is probably a little bit pandering. You're just going to be repeating yourself a lot. So 8 to 12 hours.
Less opening doors and more actual missions. I don't want you to open a fucking door for 5 minutes and I play horde mode.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. We're like waiting for the ghost to open the door. We're just like shooting.
Give us a reason why we want the fucking ghost to be around. Nah, that's another thing.
Other than the fact that it brings us back to life when we die.
Yeah, also...
Give us something really important.
If it's a robot, how come we can't customize it more than just a shape?
Yeah.
Why can't I choose a different voice?
Since we're in such a giving mood, give me a free copy of Destiny. I don't want to spend $60 on it. I'm kidding.
What a maroon.
But no, like that's my main wants. Better rewards.
That's just me.
That's fair.
Would be interesting. It would be interesting.
Pretty much.
That'd be a nice. Yeah, it's a nicer thing. I think of choice. Give me choices.
That's
in
what
the
I'm
game.
talking about. RPG element taken
There you go.
out. It feels less.
Give us more
roleplay.
RPG and less RNG.
What's RNG?
Random number generator.
I would like that. Make the game feel a little more RPG-ish.
Not like take it all out, because obviously RNG
Yeah.
like panders to my secret gambling
Let's
addiction.
get back to why warlocks are warlocks. Space magic. Let's get back to that. No more swords. The fuck? That's something that should have went to the Titan. Fuck you guys.
The Titans are
No.
supposed to be tanks.
Yeah, that's why he gets a shield, and I get a bow staff because
I can see him getting a shield. And
don't you
sword.
know?
Ricardo,
Don't you, Ricardo? Don't you know
get
that
a
hunters?
sword.
Hunters
he gets
are
a stick.
no. I get a staff, an electrical staff, because the hunters are based on the
sounds like
ancient
something a
Chinese.
warlock
Ricardo,
would have,
Ricardo,
right?
he gets a police baton.
Doesn't
No.
that sound like something a warlock would have? A staff?
No,
Connor, just
because
say-
if you would have read the lore in the fucking grimoire, you would know that the hunters.
I didn't.
Will you shut the fuck up? Will you shut the fuck up and let me explain? I'm trying to tell you that the hunters are based off of the ancient Asian mythology of Sun Wukong. And that's why we get the bow staff.
I like that little pop.
What sun is in there?
Okay,
It should
okay,
go with
hold on.
your solar stuff.
No.
Okay, I'm putting in one of those like weird faces with the characters like, oh, like what the fuck? One of those like straight line. One of these.
I get what you mean.
I want to throw shade with a butter knife. Hate that shit.
But you're not. You're using Getsuga Tensho. Like every other time in the manga.
That's something a ninja like the hunter should
I'm not a
do.
ninja, I'm a hunter.
There you go.
I
That one.
hunt things
That
like
one.
enemies.
Like ninja.
But no.
We were talking about Brad. I was drawing that.
But
Oh, and there's your grind, by the way. I drew a grinder.
But no, going back real quick, my last point on the fucking my last point on the game, what I want to see something that really hooks me, gets my interest, and doesn't let me down by the end of it. I want to go into the game just like I did when I got into Destiny 1 and feel like, whoa, this is a larger-than-life game, and I'm so happy I got it. I'm having so much fun. All this shit is so interesting. And then by the end out of the game, I'm just like, wait, where's the rest of the story? Why did I fight the Vex in particular? Why is the Heart of Darkness so lame? None of these get answered. You don't see the heart. You go back to where the Heart of Darkness was in the Taken King.
Why did I receive a weapon from the mysterious stranger? But all mine are way better than it.
Yeah, why does it suck until 3 DLCs from now when I can upgrade it?
And why does it take an entire month to upgrade it?
Yeah, for real.
I really hope Destiny 2 had a whole bunch of writers that came in and were able to do work on that.
I'm
just saying.
They brought in the same writers of Activision who worked on Call of Duty Ghosts.
Fuck those guys.
Oh my god. Wait, hold
all
on.
I wanted to say real quick was that Witcher 3, they hired a whole bunch of writers and a writing team, and that game got Game of the Year. That's the type of shit we want.
Oh shit,
no.
they hired new writers. That's why Witcher 1 and 2 never actually made it up there.
But no,
they're pretty decent.
going back
Yeah.
to what Dyllan said about them
worst
hiring the staff of
No, they were the worst
Activision
one.
who wrote the story for Call of Duty Ghosts, I'm just imagining GameStop coming on the TV and being like, pre-order now and get the special dog skin for your ghost at GameStop.
It's literally just a German Shepherd's decapitated head as the ghost.
Oh my god. Spoilers,
Floating
dude.
dog
You're
head.
telling everybody that your dog gets shot in Ghosts.
Floating dog head.
And instead of it being voiced by whoever voice acted the guy, it's Gilbert Godfrey.
Buy our game!
But
Especially Iago skin. Come on, Iago, sing for me. No!
Okay. I think that about wraps up our Destiny talk. This video will most likely come up soon.
Yeah, we're gonna try and get it out before
and
the
honestly,
release of Destiny 2, which is coming very close and very
close.
fast now.
I'll make sure I get this out definitely before Destiny 2. It's most likely coming out this week. I'll try to get it out at least either Friday or Thursday.
Yeah, we'll definitely get it out before.
Thursday.
We'll definitely get it out before September 5th.
But
shout out to my new bestie, Anna Ferris.
Oh my god, I'm really hoping that it's on the fest. But anyways, actually I already had a couple of days for our next podcast to talk about. But yeah, so this is our Destiny 2 talk and Destiny 1 talk and our impressions of both things.
Let's be real here. This was our Destiny the Taken King talk. That was like 80% of what we talked about. Was the
sorry.
Taken King.
This was more like therapy for the time we got cucked.
I am so sorry. Out of
fucking
every
game, Destiny.
DLC I've ever purchased,
Oh,
the Taken
another
King
thing for
was
Destiny
well
2.
worth my money.
More Master Raoul, less getting fucked over from Master Raoul.
Who the fuck is Master Raoul?
They Crypt Keep.
The Cryptarch.
The one that gave me shit? Fuck that.
Alright guys, we're done here. We're Couch Nerds. This was Couch Nerds Podcast, and we'll see you guys for Destiny 2 September 6th.
For the logo, you're gonna be seeing
maybe the 7th. We don't know.
For the
but
entire logo, you're gonna be seeing for the podcast. I will be making a better one. That was just on a whim thing. I did quick. I know it looks terrible, but we'll get a better one.
Keep rolling, Space Cowboy.